We're actually about to start our inaugural ceremony. We all know that 15th edition of India International Gold Convention is organized by Fortal Business Solutions Private Limited in association with India Bullion and Jewelry Association. On behalf of the organizers, I welcome you to the inaugural session, and before we begin, we would like to take this opportunity to thank our title sponsor, MMTC PAM India Private Limited. Can we have huge round of applause for all our sponsors? Platinum sponsor, Kundan. Commodities partner, MCX. Gold sponsor, World Gold Council. Exchange partner, NSC. Refinery partner, Sovereign Metals Limited. New exchange partner, BSE. Delegate kit sponsor, Fisher. Cocktail and dinner sponsor for today, Money Plan. Kerala theme dinner sponsor for tomorrow, CGR Metalloys. Precious metals analysis partner, Spectro. Bullions partner, Amrapali. Silver sponsor, RSBL. Insurance partner, Alliance Insurance Brokers. Logistics partner, Sequel. Free zone partner, Brings. Research partner, IGPC, IIM Ahmedabad. This conference is supported by several organizations, and they are Singapore Bullion Market Association, SBMA, Association of Gold Refineries and Mints, Ontario, Canada, Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council of India, GJEPC, Indian Association of Hallmarking Center, IAHC, All Kerala Gold and Silver Merchants Association, AKGSMA, Association of Gold Exporters of Ghana. Metal Focus is the information partner, Thomson Reuters is the knowledge partner, and Bullion Bulletin is the media partner. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, can we have a huge round of applause for all our partners who have supported us. So this beautiful evening is going to be inaugurated, and now I would like to request Sri Senthil Nathan S. IRS, Deputy Secretary, Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, to light the lamp and inaugurate the conference. And along with him, can I please request Mr. Prithviraj Kothari, Vice President, IBJA, to join us here on stage. Mr. Pramod Agarwal, Chairman GJEPC. Mr. PR Somasundaran, MD India World Gold Council. Mr. Arjun Ray Chaudhary, MD and CEO MMTC PAM India Private Limited. Mr. Shivanshu Mehta, Head Bullion MCX, to join the guest of honor. I think what we all can do is we can stand up for a second and pray for an amazing 2 days event. This lamp, the light has a speciality. It burns and gives light to the world. And God is the light of the world. I'm sure we all will be blessed, and this will be an amazing event. Thank you very much, everyone. Request you all to take seats. And now, may I request Mr. G. Srivastava, President, Fortal Business Solutions Private Limited, to welcome the gathering here.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Sri Senthil Nathan S. IRS, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Commerce, Government of India. Mr. Prithviraj Kothari, National Vice President, India Bullion and Jewelers Association. Mr. Pramod Agarwal, Chairman, Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council. Mr. Arjun Ray Chaudhary, MD CEO, MMTC PAMP India Private Limited. Mr. PR Somasundaram, MD India World Gold Council. Mr. Shivanshu Mehta, Head Bullion MCX. eminent speakers from around the world, dignitaries of the dais, representative from government and research organizations, delegate from across India and rest of the world, members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 15th edition of the India International Gold Convention in God's own country, Kerala. Hope you have had a very comfortable journey into Cochin. Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, Shri Suresh Prabhuji, has sent us best wishes and a video message that we would play immediately after the welcome address. At this juncture, I place on record our sincere thanks to the Honorable Minister for being ever ready to lead the development in the sector. We have amidst us a diverse mix of 380 plus delegates. Delegates here represent all sectors and sections of the gold bullion value chain, starting from miners and the representative from Ghana, Peru, Myanmar, Democratic Republic of Congo, Canada, Liberia and India, 11 international banks, 6 nominated banks, 6 international refiners, 25 plus Indian refiners, bullion dealers, logistics and quality assurance service providers, insurance and technology service providers, prominent gold jewelry manufacturers and exporters, and government representatives. Collectively, the gathering here represents the entire value chain of the gold industry. Hope this rich diversity brings out the best possible solutions. Embracing change is the theme of the conference. Gold industry is going through unprecedented changes in every aspect. The government has rightly identified the potential of the sector in terms of employment and exports. Niti Aayog, after extensive stakeholder consultation, released a report titled Transforming Indian Gold Market, which would provide crucial policy directions in the coming months. The government, along with the industry, has started acting on some of the recommendations of the Niti Aayog report. Thus, in a sense, government is leading the change agenda. There cannot be a better time but now for those who are ready to embrace change. Hope the deliberations over the next 2 days would provide enough opportunities for all of us to adapt to the changing landscape and create a better future. This is the 15th year of IIGC. We strive to stick to our core purpose, to be neutral and inclusive platform that focuses on development-oriented themes and agenda, and that facilitates engagement with stakeholders in a meaningful manner. Thanks to the suggestion from IBJA, we are providing English to Hindi translation services to facilitate better understanding and interaction. Thanks to the suggestion from LBMA, we have also introduced Slido services to improve delegate interactiveness with the speakers. Tomorrow morning, we would have an MOU signing ceremony between the Indian Bullion Bankers Association, IBBA, and Singapore Bullion Markets Association. We have also provided for closed-door meetings between the refiners in India and gold mining countries tomorrow morning up till 1 o'clock. On the conference agenda itself, thanks to the Technical Advisory Committee, we have an impressive list of speakers, starting with this inaugural function, followed by 2 keynote addresses that would follow and a special address for today, and 6 panel discussions and price outlook session for tomorrow. The discussion topics are centered around the recommendations of Niti Aayog report, and I am sure you would appreciate this idea. Post the special address today, we would have the IIGC Excellence Award Ceremony 2018 to celebrate outstanding achievements of this industry. Cocktail and dinner today and the Kerala themed dinner tomorrow would provide you with enough time to relax and dip into the rich culture of this beautiful state, Kerala. A conference of this scale is not possible without the continued support and patronage of sponsors, partners, and supporting bodies, and the media partners. Our sincere appreciation to all of them, and hope that 15th edition would be fruitful and rewarding for each one of them. Over 20 companies have chosen to display their new products and services at the exhibition area, and I'm sure you would have enough time to go through and get some interesting perspective from them. IIGC is your platform. We hope to have a very interactive and open discussion with your participation. Like earlier years, we are committed to taking these recommendations to the concerned officials of the government for policy considerations. We would appreciate your suggestions and inputs to further add value to your business. Once again, I welcome all to the 15th edition of India International Gold Convention and hope you have a rich experience as always. Best wishes and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now it is time for us to listen to the message that Sri Suresh Prabhuji, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry and Civil Aviation, has sent to us. Can we have the AV on?
Bringing change is an important issue for which we have kept a Make in India program, we have kept Digital India program, and we have so many programs we are working on it. So this 15th India International Gold Convention will go a long way in bringing in benefits to people. We already eased the import duty on specific basis. We are also promoting exports. We are working on collaboration with different bodies. We are trying to bring in regulatory changes, and we are also, spot exchange in gold is much needed, and therefore permit gold metal loan from 100% margin is one of the demand that you are making. I am sure we'll look into all the issues, but we are already setting up domestic gold council, first time in India. The idea is to promote domestic trade in this particular sector. I am sure you'll all benefit from it immensely. Please take advantage of it. Jewelry, gold, diamond, these are all very labor intensive businesses. We want to promote them in a big way. Please help us to participate in this endeavor. All the best to you. Congratulations to you.
Can we have a huge round of applause for the Minister for sharing that inspirational address? And now I request Mr. Prithviraj Kothari, who is the Vice President IBGA, to deliver his address. As we all know, is one of the most dynamic leaders of the industry, and under his leadership, there is one more news that IBGA would soon celebrate 100 years of its service. So a big round of applause for that as well.
सभी को सादर जय जिनेंद्र. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our respected Dice, WGC, Som Sundar, more dynamic person, Pramod Agrawal, GJPC Chairman, MCX, Shivanshu Mehta, and Senthil Nathan from Government of India, coming from Delhi, Mr. Chaudhary, MMTC PEM Chairman, and our Fortel hero Srivastava. 15 years from Bombay Bullion Association started with the Fortel, from Mr. Suresh Undia to Mr. Mohit Kamboj. It's a long journey. It's almost 15 years. पता ही नहीं चला कि कब 15 साल हो गए हैं. We are changing. 15 साल में कितना changes हुआ? 100% cash sale to the 100% check on RTGS. From NRI, SIL to bank through nominated registered bank through channel. Initially from its NRI, then SIL from 92, 93. Then from 97, it starts from government enterprises and nominated agency can import gold in India. Unofficially Vaida to the regulated exchange MCX and NCDX both introduced. Unofficially FATA, JOTA introduced into officially traded option. It's a changes enough just 20 years. And India volume, अगर आपको पता होगा कि LBA में कि एक दिन का वॉल्यूम है $180 बिलियन. It means totally 3,600 ton in a one day. COMEX का वॉल्यूम $40 बिलियन. It's a 800 tons of a volume. And Indian, the whole year's volume is 800 tons. It means only $40 billion. अगे भी हम लोग कितने पीछे हैं. Initially order placed by phone, now it's an online digital. Early price from before GST, early price from every one state to other state is the smuggling. The price difference BP after the GST, the everywhere is the price is the same. GST आने के बाद में लोगों के प्रॉफिट मार्जिन कम हुए हैं, बट दूसरी तरफ से अगर आप देखोगे तो उनके टर्नओवर बहुत बढ़ गए हैं, तो इट मीन्स उनके प्रॉफिट वहीं रह गई है. interstate smuggling to transparent all country dealing through GST. Now the challenge is area where to take the development. Development हमें अभी और करना है. Easy financing on gold dore and gold bar. अभी भी gold dore और gold bar में financing की कहीं पे भी facility नहीं है. अभी भी बैंकों में बुलियन के अकाउंट ओपन नहीं होते हैं. अगर अकाउंट ओपन खोलने जाते हैं तो ऐसे लगता है कि हम लोग कोई RDX बेच रहे हैं या कोई ड्रग बेच रहे हैं. बैंक ओपन अकाउंट करने में आज की डेट में डर रही है. तो ये सबसे बड़ा इश्यू है. प्रॉपर इन्वेस्टमेंट इन रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट. हिंदुस्तान के अंदर तकरीबन $400 बिलियन का एक मिनरल्स है अभी भी. जैसे आपने अगर चाइना की मार्केट को देखा होगा तो चाइना ने लास्ट 10 साल के अंदर इन्होंने R&D में पैसा डाल के खुद के होम प्रोडक्शन गोल्ड उन्होंने माइन प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट करके एज ऑन टुडे उन्होंने उनका पर ईयर का गोल्ड प्रोडक्शन 450 टन्स है. तो इंडिया क्यों नहीं कर सकती है? इंडिया में ना कोई R&D फैसिलिटी है. मोदी जी का सपना है मेक इन इंडिया, बट हाउ पॉसिबल? अगर आप हिंदुस्तान में मिनरल्स, हिंदुस्तान में पूरा मिनरल्स है, गोल्ड है, डायमंड है, कलर स्टोन है, बेस मेटल है, बहुत सी चीज़ें हैं. तो हिंदुस्तान को अगर मेक इन इंडिया करना है तो यहाँ क्यों नहीं हम कर सकते हैं? तो एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंजेज है. इम्प्रूव इमेजेस विथ रेगुलेटर एंड गवर्नमेंट के साथ में अभी भी हमें काफ़ी इम्प्रूव करने की अभी भी ज़रूरत है. अभी सुनते हैं, लोग बुलाते हैं, नीति आयोग उसका रिप्रेजेंट करती है. बहुत से बार हम लोग जाके आए हैं. इफ्जा ने बहुत रिप्रेजेंटेशन अच्छे दिए हैं. अब जो गवर्नमेंट के जो है पहले और अभी में फ़र्क सिर्फ इतना है कि अब गवर्नमेंट सुनती है, समझती है और हर उसका क्विक डिसीजन लेती है. जैसे आपने देखा होगा गोल्ड मॉनेटाइज स्कीम, सॉवरियन बॉन्ड और बहुत सी चीज़ें ऐसे हैं जो गवर्नमेंट ने ओपन की. ऑप्शन ट्रेडिंग अलाउ किया. अब धीरे धीरे बैंकों को भी अलाउ करेगी ट्रेडिंग के अंदर, फ्यूचर ट्रेडिंग एज वेल एज इसमें. और लास्टली स्मगलिंग जो अभी बढ़ रही है 10% से 13%, 3 GST मिला के, थैंक्स टू गवर्नमेंट उन्होंने जॉब ज़्यादा क्रिएट किए हैं ताकि नेबर कंट्री के लोग भी जॉब कर सके और इंडियन गवर्नमेंट के लोग भी जो बेकार लोग हैं वो भी जॉब कर सके. अगर आपने देखा होगा इनका रीज़न वही था. मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको. एट द टाइम ऑफ चिदम्बरम जब हम लोग मिलने गए 10% के टाइम पे तो सर 10% में स्मगलिंग बढ़ रही है. तो उनके पीए बोल रहे हैं कि हम लोग को तो ये चाहिए था, लोग दोनों कान में बात करें कि स्मगलिंग बढ़नी चाहिए ताकि रोज बेरोजगार लोग काम पे लग जाए. जो ब्लास्ट होते थे वो सब बंद हो जाएंगे स्मगलिंग के जरिए, और कुछ नहीं तो बेरोजगारी जो लोग पढ़े लिखे नहीं है उनको रोजगारी मिल जाएगी. तो मेरे बोला अच्छी बात है, नेबर कंट्री के भी लोगों को फ़ायदा हो जाएगा. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर गवर्नमेंट टू क्रिएट अ 13% ऑफ 10+3. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you very much, sir. And now I would like to invite Mr. Pramod Agarwal, Chairman, Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council of India, to present his address. As we know, he started his career in jewelry business at Jaipur during the year 1986 with an artisan and one customer. He is the founder of Darewala Industries Limited. Today, the Darewala Industry Limited is a world-class manufacturer of gold and silver ornaments offering international quality products using advanced technology. Can we have a huge round of applause for him?
Mr. Som Sundaram ji, Managing Director, World Gold Council, Vice President IIGC, Shri Prithviraj Kothari, the dynamic speech which he gave just now, and Santhil Nathan ji, IRS, is the Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Mr. Arjun Ray Chaudhary ji, Managing Director, CEO MMTC PAMP, and Sri Swastav ji, President Fortwell Business, and colleagues from the industry, delegates from the world, a very good evening to all of you. GJPC is a apex body which represents gem and jewelry exporters across the country. We have taken up the issues of the industry with the government, and we also take up the issue which are related to the domestic trade which comes to impact to the exports of this industry. What I want to let you know that our Commerce and Industry Minister He is very supportive and very simple, and he always think about our industry. Recently, he had traveled before to Russia, and he was thinking same about our gold, about diamond, how we can bring the raw material in India, and we can manufacture, and the duty will not charge in that country. So our minister is very active for our sector, and in his activeness, when I became chairman, first meeting I had with him, and we spoke about the jewelry park in Mumbai. And he immediately, in 2 days, he got a land for us in Mumbai, which will be 13,000 crore rupees investment, and 2,500 units will come there. And that was, we got an MOU done with Maharashtra government. So very soon, that will start in coming months. GJPC works with the stakeholders, with other association also, and we ask this gold policy for our traders. Currently, different components of the gold sector, like bullion, refinery, banks, jewelers, are required to report for deal with the multiple bodies of the government, like DGFT, RBI, customs, etc., resulting in loss of ease of doing business in this sector. We are happy to understand such situation. Recently, the government had created a committee under Niti Aayog who have recommended for a comprehensive gold policy framework to the government of India. Based on that, Finance Minister has introduced his gold policy in Budget 2018. We are part of the decision happening for framing the policy by Government of India, and we hope very soon that will be introduced. Another positive step which government did is a one tax, one nation. It is big help for our sector, so we don't have to open office in different state and get the VAT refund, all those. So this is helping a lot to our sector. GJPC has worked on various activities on GST refund, where we had some problem in exports. So the government has really worked very hard and resolved those issues. And also we have recommended to the government for tourists who is coming in India and buying the jewelry or any item, so GST refund like in foreign country. So soon government is going to work on that out. Government, the gold and jewelry should not be looked as a luxury item. This is account to be employment of 5 million people and the export of 9.6 billion in years 2017-18. We will be shortly holding a conference to discuss how the sector can contribute more than 2 million people more in next 5 years to grow export, to help the country to manage the balance of payment. In end of the month, we will be holding a seminar, come roundtable discussion event on employment, skill development, and export promotion in association with the Ministry of Commerce. Honorable Commerce and Industry Minister will also be present. And it was his idea to keep the conference, as he spoke also in message. So we are going to have the conference very soon. Council is organizing second edition in November for this gold conference, like last time, if you all was presented there. So it will be happen in end of November. Also, Council is part of the Government in Domestic Formation Council. We were also part there. And the Honorable, our Commerce Minister, his dream was to bring all association in one platform. So he says this domestic body will be framed and formed by all the association, and all will be the member of it. It is a very big thing what has been done for a sector. So our sector, all the representatives, even from small villages, will be part of it. Secondly, recently we did, under his guidance, the remote area like in Sindur and other areas for the training of the village, how the jewelry can be manufactured. So that is also his dream, to bring all the technology to remote areas. And number second is a very important, which Ministry of Commerce is with the help, and they are also they are giving the money to set up the common facility center in across the country. So we are doing cluster mapping of the country. So this will be around 135 centers across the India. And we'll put up all the latest technology and train the need base of that area, because India has so much art and we need to bring them with the technology, and that will be the strength of our country. We have the institutes, 5 institutes in the country, and 6th is coming in Udupi very soon. In end, I thank organizers of the conference for giving me the opportunity for being here, and I wish you all successful 2 days. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. MMTC PAM is the largest and only LBMA accredited gold refinery in India. MMTC PAM has been a patron of IIGC and is the title sponsor of 15th edition. Now I would like to invite Mr. Arjun Rai Chaudhary, Managing Director and CEO MMTC PAM, to deliver his address.
Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me here, and thank you to the esteemed panelists. I'm not sure I'll have a lot more to add about the gold industry, especially given the wealth of experience that we already have here. And I'll keep my presentation short. You know, as MMTC PAMP, and we are a refiner, we often have to take a long view. We invest a lot of money into setting up refineries. We have to think out what happens in the next 10 years, what happens in the next 20 years. As you're all familiar with Rajesh, he's been exceptional at thinking and taking the long view, and in that sense, I'm hoping to continue with that tradition. You know, the theme of this conference is embracing change, and as someone who's been an industry outsider till even 2 years ago, right? Perhaps I'm hoping to bring a slightly different perspective. When I look at the domestic consumption of gold, I have a slightly pessimistic view. You know, if you think about, as a layperson, if you think of why do people buy gold? You buy it for consumption, you buy it for a financial instrument as a retail consumer, and you often use gold to avoid the organized sector, right? So in some sense, these are the 3 use cases of gold. If you look at what's happening in India today, from a consumption point of view, clearly preferences are changing. People are more happy to spend money buying vacations than buying gold necklaces. If they have to buy jewelry, they are trying to buy jewelry with less gold. Now, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Can we change it? That's something that we need to think about. Second, the financial use case for gold for the average Indian is significantly changing because of the whole increase in financial services penetration over the last 20 years. You know, if you look at mutual fund penetration, if you look at banking penetration, and most importantly, if you look at the government support to the financial institutions, it's significantly more than the government support to an industry like gold. And third, which is the use case of gold where, you know, you can use gold to avoid taxes, let's put it that way, right? Or smuggling, or whatever it is. Over time, as the government gets more and more access to information from different sources, a person's ability to use gold to avoid certain forms of organized, you know, interaction with the exchequer, that is also shrinking. You know, the whole idea of linking your PAN, your Aadhaar, your phone number, all of this is basically increasing a net. These are the real changes that we as an industry should be concerned about, because these are the changes these types of changes hit every industry. And when they hit an industry, you always have industry conferences and you have lots of conversations about what, you know, maybe the government can do to help, but more often than not, unless as industry participants we take certain uncomfortable decisions and we drive change, you know, we are looking at a domestic gold consumption market where there are fundamental drivers that are pointing downwards. It's not good to hear, it's especially not good to hear from an industry outsider in that sense. But you know, these are the kind of things that we at MMTC PAMP worry about. And we worry about this all the time because, you know, our core business is just refining. So the size of the domestic market matters hugely to us because we have a lot of invested capacity. luckily, there are some solutions. The first is, of course, everyone's working with the government to make some changes, and the government has been extremely responsive and supportive over the last few years. But the second point is that change is uncomfortable and change has to come from within. You know, government is a policy maker, it's a facilitator. As an industry, we need to change and we need to embrace, new products and new partnerships. We have to be able to step outside our comfort zone. I mean, I'll give you an example. Everyone knows we launched this idea called digital gold. It's about a year or two old. Before we did this, the big players in other parts of the market, not the gold market, but the other parts of the Indian market, players like Paytm or ICICI or PhonePe, these are giants in their own right. They hadn't heard about gold. And now they're investing hugely into the sector that is our sector. So we have to be able to do two things, and both are very uncomfortable. We have to be able to, embrace new products, and we have to be able to embrace partnerships outside of the people that we know. We have to get more people in who perhaps never worked with gold before, because I would imagine that that is the way we can, work through this reality. And, of course, the starting point always is the reality needs to be acknowledged first. In my view, the reality is that we are not looking at a domestic consumption of 800 tons. If you look at these macroeconomic changes, these real changes, I think it's more like 600. Som and I will have different views on the topic, but, whether it's 600 or 800, this is not a business that's going to 1600. Right? I think we can all agree on that. And the only point I'd like to make, and again, forgive me as being the newcomer to this group, we cannot wait for change. We have to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. WGC has been working very closely with the government on various policy aspects pertaining to gold markets in India. I now invite the MD India World Gold Council, Mr. P.R. Somasundaram, to deliver his address.
Mr. Sendinathan, my friends from the industry, visitors from other countries, very good evening to all of you. I just can't start my speech without, and it's going to be very short, let me assure you, without responding to Arjun's comments about the demand. I share his concern, but not his forecast. Let me put it like that. Yes, there are concerns that the demand is probably going sidewise and not vertically up, but to say that it will go down, well, you and I can discuss that over a drink. Yes, all the speakers before me spoke about a couple of things that are happening. First of all, it's great to be at the IIGC. This is the 15th edition, and every edition we see is improving over the previous one. So it is absolutely fantastic to be here this evening and to meet all of you. It's always been very productive conference, one of the most productive conferences in India. But what I would probably throw up for the conference, given all that the agenda has already been agreed, is that, you see, we all meet at various conferences in India. We discuss primarily the same set of subjects, and we also say every one of us will go to the government, etc. What would be good for us in the next 1 or 2 days that we are going to be discussing is to be very upfront, open, and transparent about what the industry faces and what the industry causes also in terms of issues. The main point is there are macro issues. India's supply of gold, mining, gold monetization, they are very long term. They're not going to happen in the short run. So I think we should absolutely be realistic about it. In the next 5 years, I don't see India becoming a major supplier of gold, whether through monetization or through mining. Mining is a very long-term thing. We haven't even got a policy in place, and we are talking about sourcing. So let's keep that aside. There is a macro issue on gold. It's not going to disappear. But there is also the industry level issue. What I would urge all of us in the next few days to discuss is, are we doing those which is within our control in the most what I would say, effective way, in the most professional way that we would like to do. I'm just talking about things like quality, things like marketing. Arjun made a very valid point about millennials moving away from gold, and as I said, I share the concern. But how do we still market gold today in India? We still market it, the best of the handcrafted jewelry market gets it. Probably every piece of jewelry is worked on by at least a minimum of 3 people. But when it comes to me and gets sold to me, it is sold to me on the basis of a gold price plus, what is the labor charge. I don't even know who worked on it. I have made this point in many places. If you go and take a hand-stitched shirt today, a handmade leather shoe, you pay 5 times the price of a machine-made stuff. We have handmade jewelry, every piece. So what a man wears or a woman wears is made by somebody in Kashmir, somebody then does it in Ahmedabad, then the stones are done in Hyderabad, and then it comes to Chennai. But is that how we sell it? No. I think these are matters within the industry to say. And if we are good at selling these to our millennials, I can assure Mr. Pramod Agarwal that you will crack the export market as well. And by export market, I don't mean export to Indians abroad, I mean export to foreigners abroad. Can you sell gold jewelry to US people and not to Indian people living in the US? And for that, you please address people with, similar aspirations in India. So the point I'm making is, let's debate issues within our control, very transparently, with a lot of realism in this. We know government has a problem on trade deficit. That's not going to disappear. But having said that, I say this again in every conference, there is nothing which stops us in India other than the 13% duty, which also 10% is never known to the customer. There is actually, it is almost a free trade. If I want to buy a couple of $1 million worth of gold today, there's nothing which stops you. You give your PAN card and you buy. So let us also be realistic about what is it exactly which is inhibiting the business. And we all say we are transparent, honest businessmen. So smuggling shouldn't affect us because we are not part of that market. So what else can we do then to improve this business? We should be very, because this is an industry forum, we should talk amongst ourselves as friends and go to the government with a realistic set of recommendations. Even the Niti Aayog, yes, we were all part of it. Most of us in this room have been part of it on this panel. We must be realistic. It is very difficult for the government to accept many of the recommendations made there, unless, as I said, I'll stop with this, industry goes and says, how is gold adding economic value in India? We don't even have data on the gold industry at a wider level, other than probably the demand data that we give. First, let's get our house in order, and certainly we will have a lot to discuss with the government. Certainly, the thinking in the government is changing about gold. It is a lot less unfriendly now, I would say. So it's a time for us to go back with them. And I hope with that, this conference will be definitely adding in that light. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Rugang Pranchpe could not make it today due to some exigencies. We will have him tomorrow morning. And in his place, we have Mr. Shivanshu Mehta, Head Bullion, MCX. MCX is the largest exchange for commodity derivatives in the country, with leadership role in gold and silver. Over to Shivanshu Mehta.
Mr. Prithviraj Kothari, or Kaka as we fondly call him, Mr. Senthilnathan, Mr. Pramod Agarwal, Mr. P.R. Somasundaram, Mr. Arjun Rai Chaudhary, and our friend GSV. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you part of this August gathering on behalf of MCX. And like all of my panelists have said, to take a book from what they've, to take a page from what they have said, that there is nothing constant but change. And in a sense that this bullion and jewelry industry has actually witnessed over the past few years a shift in paradigm, literally. Whether it's a journey of moving from differential state taxation to GST, whether it is moving away from unorganized, methodologies of hedging to organized exchange-traded risk management books. In all senses, these journeys are nothing but journeys of moving from current level of practices to benchmarked best practices. And I must say, the industry has shown tremendous resilience through this. It is no strange coincidence that India today, being the largest / second largest consumer of gold, we must draw tremendous strength from that fact as we go through and embrace this change going forward. And commodity exchanges, especially MCX, can never be too far from where the physical industry that it represents is today. I'm talking about our gold and silver futures contracts, which have been in existence for over 15 years. And we have, on our part, also, along with you, been witnesses and participants of this change. And over the years, it is a pleasure to say that we have the patronage of hedgers from across the bullion value chain and across the jewelry value chain present on MCX, whether it's leading jewelers, small to medium jewelers, bullion traders, government-nominated agencies, primary producers, smelters, refiners, etc. And that gives us a continuous sense of pride. And India's journey of becoming a price setter from being a price taker is another area where we have tried to contribute, wherein our prices are considered as the domestic benchmark, and most of the pricing today happens plus minus the futures prices. So to add to that, we are looking forward to a slew of product introductions, and in the recent past, there have been a lot of product introductions at MCX, especially the gold and silver options, which serve the hedgers with a complete methodology of hedging their price risk. We eagerly look forward to exchange-traded futures based on, exchange-traded funds based on gold futures, mutual funds. The participation of bank subsidiaries has already been permitted, and most of them, the leading ones, have become members already, and you shall shortly be seeing them. We also eagerly await the gold policy decisions, which my panelists have mentioned before me from the Niti Aayog, wherein the financialization of gold is a subject being keenly dwelt upon, making positive changes to the current prevailing products aimed at financialization, like the GMS, the gold metal loans as vehicles to that GMS, the sovereign gold bond scheme, also the gold savings account. And I'll just sign off by saying that the development of this gold as an asset class is what we are ultimately looking at, as was mentioned in the speech, budgetary speech. And we eagerly await the further decisions on the regulatory contours of the gold spot exchange, which has been envisioned and envisaged. And we are happy to support this industry on that front going forward. Thank you.
And now I would like to invite the guest of honor of the day, Shri Senthil Nathan S., IRS, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Commerce, Government of India. Shri Senthil Nathan joined the services in 2006. Prior to his current position as Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Commerce since June 2018, Mr. Senthil Nathan was a Joint Commissioner, Central Excise Commissionerate, Thiruvananthapuram, DC Bangalore Airport, Bangalore and AC Mysore Commissionerate. Shri Senthil Nathan is an MSc Psychology and a BBA graduate, a key learner. Shri Senthil Nathan is here with us to understand the expectations of the sector. May I invite Shri Senthil Nathan, IRS Deputy Secretary, to deliver his address, please. Can we have a huge round of applause for him?
My fellow panelists on the dais and delegates who have come from across India and outside India, representing the length and breadth of the value chain that is gold. A very good evening to all of you. And first up, I would like to thank Fortel and the organizers here for giving this opportunity for me, being a representative of the government, to be in this August gathering. And I've been patiently listening to the variety of views that have come through. And as would be suggested by the wide experience that the panelists boast of, what we have seen is an eclectic set of views. And I would neither agree nor completely disagree with all of them, a true government man. But I would definitely would like to reflect upon some of those things that have been said. It's true that India is one of the largest importers of gold. And when you import 90% of your requirement, it is going to have an impact on your balance of payments. And it is through this lens the government has been seeing gold industry for a long, long time. Whenever they set policy for gold, it is with the eye or with both eyes on the current account deficit. But as is the theme of this conference, which is embracing change, what is clear now is over the recent past, over the few years now, we have a government which is embracing change, not just any change. This is a government which is looking at transformative changes, be it in introduction of mammoth economic reforms for a country of this size, like GST, which has been largely smooth. Of course, there were teething troubles, but for a country of this size, with the diversity of economy this big, it has been largely smooth exercise to bring entire industry under one umbrella of taxation of indirect taxes. That's a transformative change for the economy, which would have benefits for years together. Similar are many transformative changes, either in digitization of transaction medium or in trying to enumerate persons and trying to make persons accountable, identifiable. There are multiple changes which are actually transforming the very basics of which or how the economy works. And it is in this context the industry, gold industry, is also being viewed at. Because when you view an industry which has multiple players, mostly MSME, and with few very organized players, you don't get a full view if you go it with a single lens of just your balance of payments. It is in that context that the government has tried to understand the industry, and the Niti Aayog report that has been repeatedly referred to was named as transforming India's gold market because we wanted to have a comprehensive idea of how this industry works, how the various stakeholders are placed, and how are their aspirations going to reflect upon each other, because there are conflicting aspirations also. And as a government, we have to take a balanced view. And it is in this context, the finance minister in the last budget speech also has identified the need for a comprehensive gold policy and to develop gold as an asset class. As much as I would agree with Arjun when he says the millennials are moving away from gold, it is also true that there is a scope to market the same gold to the millennials, provided it is pitched in the right sense, as Mr. Somasundaram was trying to say. It's not that you can't market anything. You can market 20 years down the line, you wouldn't have believed when a bottle of water would be marketed to you for 20 rupees or more. But it has to happen in a particular way. Similarly, even in the case of gold, if it has to happen in a particular way, it has to be presented the right way. And part of it is to try and leverage upon your strengths. What are your strengths? You have a market. You have a market where gold is coming in, almost 75% of it is going to be used for jewelry and coins. And hardly 10% of the jewelry is exported. And as Mr. Somasundaram rightly pointed out, the export market is largely focused on the diaspora. We are yet to even scratch the surface of how to export to the Europeans, US markets, or multiple foreign nationals. That is a vast potential that is still waiting to be tapped. And improving upon exports would also require understanding on how we are placed in the domestic markets. Because, as was again rightly pointed out, the way the international market is seeing a product would also be having resonance with how the domestic market is seeing a product. If you are able to crack the domestic market, especially the largest consuming segment of millennials or whatever you want to target, you will be able to get an idea or maybe get the key points of how to crack an international market also. So to that extent, we do have advantages. What are those advantages? Like, we have a large variety of jewelry that can be produced, artistic jewelry, handcrafted jewelry. We can leverage and pitch it in the right way. We can definitely unlock the value, because gold has always been a value, the margin available in these industry segments have been very minimal. But if you can market it properly, it will unlock a very good value addition at every stage, even at the stage of your exports. Similarly, what happens when you start unlocking or dovetailing your making in India with the gold? You have a large market domestically, and even if you are going to improve your 10% market of exports to 20% or so, it is going to improve your balance of payment situations. It will also mean a lot of employment, because a lot of handcrafted jewelry, a lot of artisans, it presently 5 to 6 million, they say, it can go to another at least 2 million more. And this employment is going to be gainful employment for a lot of people. And government is working on these multiple aspects. As was again rightly pointed out, not all of this are like low-hanging fruits. Not all of this are going to be achieved within a year or 2 years. But at the government, we have multiple ways this industry is regulated. Even as we and the Commerce Ministry try to improve upon the exports, try to ensure that we are having access to more and more markets. My counterparts in the Finance Ministry are still thinking about the taxation system, how better to support. 10 plus 3%, yes, it is a challenge, but it is there for a particular reason, and that again is to be relooked at. That again is a constant call from the industry, which I think the Finance Ministry would definitely look into. Similarly, important aspects that are going to transform this market, be it in terms of setting up a spot exchange, be it in terms of monetizing or even having gold deposit kind of schemes. This government is looking into it and definitely going to come up with schemes that are going to execute it very shortly. And the gold policy, I'm sure that's going to be rolled out shortly, will be a game changer for this industry. And I'm also sure beyond this, this government is also looking at this industry as a great employment opportunity for the largely young India, because we are setting up with the support from industry partners, a lot of skill development centers, and also to support MSME kind of stakeholder units, a lot of common facility centers, as was being pointed out. As of now, the pilot scheme has been more or less with the diamond sector, but we have a scheme coming forward in the next few years, almost 100 plus centers where individual clusters, like you have a jewelry sector for a particular area which is specializing in a particular kind of jewelry, but they might have to improve. As much of handmade jewelry is an important sector, you must also invest in technology. You must also understand that there is a growing market for light jewelry, machine-made jewelry, which also has a value. But you may not be able to crack it if you don't have the capacity to invest in it. How do you go and address the situation? The government is preparing a scheme where common facility centers will be established in particular clusters with capital-intensive machinery, which can be shared by that particular cluster's entities, and which will be basically custom-driven. What is the specialization like? If this particular sector is more into temple jewelry or in a particular kind of more artistic in a particular style, and there are certain machineries which are customized or required for that particular style, the common facility center will be able to provide that. That way we will have a capital-intensive production facility that is supporting the local manufacturers, which will help the local market as well as the international exports. Besides that, going down the value chain, even the refining part of it, there are a lot of movements for making India a refining hub for the entire world. There is definitely a potential. Of course, this requires multiple steps. One is about exploring the possibility of having internationally recognized standards that the government is already in work with the BIS and other agencies, where we are trying to equip our refineries to gear up to international standards, and we also will be able to set up this system within a year or few years maximum. So this is a government, I want to reiterate, that fully committed to embrace this change, and not just in a small incremental manner. These are changes that we want to have a transformative effect on this gold sector, and as a ripple effect on the entire economy in terms of employment, in terms of GDP, in terms of exports, in multiple ways that this sector can contribute to the larger benefits of this economy. And it is the vision of this government to make India the manufacturing hub for jewelry and also the refining hub for the entire world. And I am sure when embracing this change, the government is ready to partner with each and every sector of this industry to ensure this grand vision is realized. And I am hopeful that all of you as industry partners in India and abroad would come forward and join hands in this partnership to make this commitment realize all its dreams. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And now it is time for us to present the mementos to our dignitaries. So, can I please request Mr. Prithviraj Kothari, National Vice President, IBJA, to present the memento to the guest of honor, Shri Senthil Nathan, yes, IRS, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. And let the clapping of hands be a natural process till we finish off with all the dignitaries. Thank you. So I would request you to present the memento to Shri Pramod Agarwal, Chairman, GJEPC. And Mr. P.R. Somasundaram, MD, India World Gold Council. Mr. Arjun Rai Chaudhary, MD and CEO, MMTC PAM India Private Limited. Mr. Shivanshu Mehta, MCX. Thank you. And I would now request Mr. G. Srivastava, sir, to present the memento to Prithviraj Kothari, sir.